Go Pizza presents STP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
We should start the show with the funniest tweet the internet's ever seen.
Ever.
Comes from Down Goes Brown.
DGB.
He says, it must be inspiring for Taylor Hall to see all these legends who've achieved the goal he's only dreamt of, being a former Edmonton Oiler.
Down goes Brown, everybody.
Wow.
Down goes Brown.
Wow.
Well done.
That was beautiful. So true.
No one so regularly and consistently makes me feel like an unfunny piece of crap than Down Goes Brown.
Yeah, that's just a gift, though. Like, you can't teach that.
No.
You can't know that. Like, that's just, that's innate. You live it, you breathe it, you sweat it.
He is that person.
Same with Pete Blackburn.
He's very good.
He's the guy from
I like
Rocks.
that he's finally getting his due.
He's very funny.
And while we compliment them, should we start with we're idiots? Most notably me. I'm an idiot.
We're idiots? Now,
Hold on.
because I got this.
You're on my show.
I got this sequence. Oh, your show.
Oh, it's my show.
All right. So, all right. So Steve wants to throw down, but we're gonna have to bring him back down to earth, Jesse,
you're right.
because I believe. I love you,
Everything's
Steve.
okay.
But really, well, we're all
They're
friends.
hugging for everyone who's listening right now. Adam and Steve are hugging.
You can watch this later on the Steve Dangle YouTube channel, Steve Dangle Podcast YouTube channel.
YouTube.com/Steve Dangle.
Yeah, Jesse always gets it up.
Podcast. That's the other
Because there's a
channel.
Steve Dangle channel, and
Yes.
now there's a Steve Dangle Podcast channel.
Does your channel link to the podcast channel?
Not yet. It doesn't.
Because the podcast channel links to your channel.
I'm gonna go home and do that.
Girl.
I'll make a playlist and cards and all sorts of YouTube social media-ness.
Wow. How about we continue on the social media train? I want to read for you.
We're not talking about how I'm an idiot with Pavel? Or we'll get to that.
We're getting to it right now, actually. An NHL player said, how the hell do I divide 11 pieces of chicken into 4 lettuce wraps?
Oh, this is a different time when I was an idiot.
And that NHL player happened to be Ben Scrivens, to which Steve replied, with your mouth, Ben. And Ben wrote back, shut up, Steve. No one is here to see you.
It's okay, though. No one read it. No one, how many retweets does that have?
120 retweets.
Oh, okay.
618 likes. Now, I want to read through some of the responses on this because...
And what's great is some of the responses got like 100+ likes.
So Sasky Stewart, who's the one who told us that story in the first place, again, I will never forget that moment. That moment of just... Like, it was so cringe. It was the cringeworthy...
The look on your face, Adam, was I genuinely think less of my friend. Like,
Was it?
Yes.
I to me, what I felt was just joy that it had happened.
there was our friendship pre that moment and post.
Wow. It was a turning point.
It was a turning point,
Wow.
and you stuck with me for some reason.
Well, because I love you, buddy.
Jesse, I think, has always, been like, this guy's
He got wise to you. He didn't know you in the before times, in the
guy's-
long ago.
guy's a bit much.
I never had respect for Steve, and I never will.
that is fair enough. You know what I like with Jesse? Honesty.
He is. He's very honest.
always know what
Except
you're
for when he's wrong. He will never admit when he's wrong. That's one thing I've learned.
that
I've
gives him
never been wrong,
There you go.
so I can't be honest about it.
That gives Jesse a bright future in sports broadcasting.
Yes,
Adam. You
absolutely.
never criticize him for that.
Or politics.
It's gonna be Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Smith,
And Jesse Blake.
Vote Trump.
He's So Sasky Stewart writes at Ben Scrivens, I feel like this is the only time someone has made this joke and I haven't wanted to cry.
She regrets telling that story. I think.
Why?
Because it's people just message her all the time. People come up to her in public.
so she's tired
and
of
go,
it.
"Hey, I'm here to see you, Sasky." She's like, "Shut up."
Okay, that's fair. Now
She's like Bart Simpson with the "I didn't do it." She's the "I didn't do it" kid.
Andrew Berkshire just tweeted, I think, at Ben Scrivens, I think you just killed Steve Dangle.
He did.
A guy
Inside.
named Austin Moran who listens to the show posted a meme and it said, he knows. Now this means that NHL players listen to our show, right?
All the time. Clearly.
One.
At least one.
Just Ben Scrivens. That's
And
it.
not only that, people who are intelligent hockey minds listen to this show, which leads me to my next point, which, by the way, we're all complicit in, okay? We're all complicit
Not
in this
me.
one, which is, Steve, you want to take it from here?
Well, I was at the Leafs morning skate yesterday, depending on when you're listening to this, I guess 2 days ago, before the Leafs take on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, I'm glad I didn't have that prior knowledge of, NHL players might listen to the show, because I was definitely walking into the Columbus Blue Jackets room like, I hope none of them have ever listened. I've called their team terrible and all of their contracts bad for several months
Scott
now.
Hartnell would not be happy to see you.
No, and luckily I didn't see him. Nick Foligno, great sport. Great sport. Good guy. But I saw an individual in there, Adam.
Who might that have individual been?
Well,
do we know him or her?
We may be familiar with this individual.
Okay.
They walked up to me. Their name, first name Elliot, last name Friedman.
Never heard of him.
No, me neither. He's an intern. He's got a bright future, the kid, but he's got some work to do.
Okay, all right.
So
has he ever brought me coffee?
Oh,
did he bring you coffee?
No.
Oh,
He's Elliot Friedman. Why would he bring me coffee?
no. Actually, I remember the day he was on the
Adam
podcast.
Wild. He might.
I remember the day he was on the podcast. We always offer to get guest coffee, and he's like, "I'll have a Coke, please."
You know, yeah,
that happened.
What was amazing too is that in that instance, which by the way was totally effing surreal. Caprice, my girlfriend, is the only one in the. She's talking to Elliot Friedman. She's just yammering on, has no idea who he is. While Steve and Jesse and I are like, Elliot Friedman's.
And Mrs. Dangle was
He's
there
in the
too.
house,
with
yeah,
my dog.
with the dog. It's like a family affair. We're like, Elliot, come on out to our barbecue. Like, and
Come to my spare bedroom and
yeah, don't mind the fact
barely
that
any light and a giant fan.
and the fact that the air conditioner doesn't work.
This will never get on the radio. Like 3 months later, it's on the radio.
Yeah.
So anyway, Friedman walks up to me and he goes, "Yeah, so I heard your podcast the other day."
Which, by the way, yeah! Woo! We did it, boys. We did it.
we made it. Friedman listened, and he listened on the radio. Which, if you're listening on the radio right now,
Wow.
hey, thanks for that.
That's early.
He's like one of 3 people.
Hey, if you are listening on the radio,
Everyone listens to the fan.
do you mind tweeting us when you listen on the? Because I would love to
Yeah,
know
do
who's
it.
actually
Yeah.
listening to the radio part.
Yeah.
We want to know from you. And if you
Tweet
are
us.
listening to us for the first time, our Twitter handles are at Steve_Dangle, at Adam Wild, WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
Even if you're like, yeah, so I love the fan. I love most of the programming on the fan, except for you guys. Please tweet that
Tweet
at
us anyway. Yeah, that's cool.
That would
be understandable.
along the lines of what I expect. But anyway, he's like, yeah, you guys were on after the Leaf game the other day. I was like, oh, good. And then I went, oh, because I took the train in that day. And
you
when I'm on the
listened to
train, I'm on Twitter. And when I'm on Twitter, I get told I'm wrong about lots of things. Most notably, something we said on the last podcast, which Elliot Friedman listened to, Pavel Datsyuk.
So how did that conversation go? What did he say?
He
Or what
goes-
did you say?
he goes, yeah, I heard the show. I heard yeah, it was on after the Leaf game. Yeah. About Datsyuk. I was just like, God.
And
It was like the teacher who really believes in you if you just applied yourself.
yeah.
Just letting you know he's a little disappointed.
That'd be like meeting Wayne Gretzky the day after your team gets blown out 10-0 and he was there and watching you and you didn't know. You know what I mean? Like that's where I would liken that to.
Who was the band who showed up to Scott Tenorman, the Chili Festival?
Oh, geez, I
You know,
forget
it's like,
that.
oh, what a loser this kid is. Stop crying, little crybaby. No, and he explained what I was wrong about. So if you listen to the last show, what I was wrong about was, so Datsyuk might go to Russia, and I was like, oh, well, just take all the money that you'll save from Datsyuk not being on the team anymore and spend it on a guy like Stamkos. You can't do that because his contract was signed over the age of 35, so the Wings will actually be on the hook. I can't remember if it's for all of it or part of it.
Which, by the way, he's not going to Russia then. What a jerk. That would be a jerk. There's another word for that, but I can't say it because we're on the radio. That's a jerk. Jerk.
I know all the Russian words for that.
Move. You can't say those either because that still counts as a swearing thing.
No, I know.
But-
We'll go through all the Russian swear words.
Amazing.
You
I can't wait.
want to do that later
Well,
in the
we
show?
don't have time today.
We might though.
We
By
have
the
so
way,
much stuff to do.
We might though.
It was Radiohead. Tom York said that.
Radiohead.
Oh
Little
man.
crybaby. As he's eating his parents.
Jesse, thank you for doing your job and looking that up. I know
problem.
that's as producer.
JB doing his GD
Can you please
job.
look up our South Park references, sir?
That is what I'm here for.
That was back-to-back days of screwing up, having an NHL player make fun of me, and having Elliot Friedman one of the biggest people in sports broadcasting in this country tell me I was wrong about something.
Yeah, you know,
it was good.
When you
it was
talk,
a good day.
When you talk a lot, you're going to be wrong some. So there's an acceptable wrongness, and it's 10 to 70% of the time. Am I right?
If we're gonna make fun of guys like Mark Madden, we got to be able to take our lumps.
Yeah,
and Mike Francesa.
Yeah.
Like, who hasn't even really been obnoxious?
No, who's really just a nice guy?
Yeah. Who has to fill 6 hours of radio a day? So
talking about sports with the guy who's like, Frank Larry, you know the guy at 61 laid down the punt, was important in my life.
What are we talking about?
Well, Mike, it was Frank Larry.
Yeah,
he was
right,
Frank Larry.
Go. No, I don't remember
No, Mike, he laid down the bunt. It was just important in my life.
Hey, look, Mike, I'm just going to back out of this one.
I don't feel good, Mike. You're not making me feel safe. I'm not in a safe place. Can we talk about last place?
Let's talk about last place, which
Currently,
we have no idea where the Leafs will be at the end of the night.
Currently, in some alternate universe, which happens to be our own, the Leafs are up 2-0 on the Flyers.
2-1.
Oh, it's 2-1 now. Okay.
Flyers scored.
And then there's something under review right now in the game. It really doesn't matter, though, because by the time you listen, this podcast is recorded and over. And Steve is on his phone. He's interested in something. What do you got? Why'd you make that face?
No, don't worry about it.
Okay. So
my wife's Canada Goose jacket has an issue, and she's upset. It's a girl thing. Don't
okay,
worry.
cool.
Okay. It's a going home to an angry wife thing. You see,
I know that feel.
Jesse, one day.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait. till you have a steady girlfriend. Oh my God.
Let me tell you a story, young blood.
Kendall Jenner will not treat me like that.
Oh man,
I'll keep her in line.
Best of luck.
Save this clip just in case.
So the thing with the Leafs is that if they lose tonight, they clinch last place. They have already clinched at least second last place. And there is a good reason to be very excited about that. We know the obvious reasons. But I know there's a lot of people looking at their TV set currently, and they're going, oh my God, don't win. Because you clinch last if you don't win.
And they are playing to win. As we're watching right now, the Leafs are up 2-0. And I think it's 2-1. And the Flyers just tied it up. Or so they thought. But Babcock challenged it and they called it back. Babcock's playing to win, man. So you know what? This is how you lose, though. If you do lose. Mm-hmm. Sorry, they are currently winning. Yeah. As we're talking about this. But like a game like the other day against the Blue Jackets, that's bad. You know, like it's hard wanting your team to finish in a bad position so that it makes their draft position a good position. Mm-hmm. But you want them to at least do it with dignity. You want the young players contributing. There was none of that against Columbus. In this game against Philly, holy smokes, you got Nylander in there. You got Babcock winning coaches challenges. You want them trying hard, you know, competing with a team that desperately needs the points, like the Flyers. This is how you do it. You know, there's no shame in it.
With the Flyers sitting in 8th place, and we'll get to the Detroit Bruins game tonight.
Not even in 8th, which Jesse will yell about in a minute.
Which upsets me.
Okay, but they're technically in the second wild card.
Anymore.
Oh, it's the second wild card.
It's
which isn't a wild card. It's 8th place. But anyway,
is it?
But it's not because they got more points than someone else. Yeah, it's so stupid. Anyway, the thing about that is if they don't win tonight, they're in serious deep doo-doo, either with Detroit or Boston, doesn't matter. And so, I mean, the Flyers have to win. And I would love nothing more than to take that away from the Philadelphia Flyers because they have taken so much from me as a Toronto Maple Leaf fan.
You can take away something from the Boston Bruins.
The Boston Bruins, yeah. Who are currently up 3-0 on Detroit.
Before we get into the Detroit-Boston game, just 2 seconds, 2 seconds, and then we'll get into it because it's an important game. I just want to say, if you're worried about the Leafs picking second overall, chances are it's going to be Patrick Lane.
Okay.
And he put up some ridiculous goals over the last couple days. They are at sportsnet.ca, and I highly recommend you check them out because here's the thing. People are like Austin Matthews. There's no question that the majority of Leaf fans, if we don't select first overall, are going to be disappointed. My point is, don't be one of them. Because this guy is going to be really, really good. And do your research on the top 5.
It's going to be a strong top 5. And the odds... So I from what I gather, so the Leafs can't finish higher than second last.
Right.
Which means worst case scenario, they pick 5th. The worst case scenario isn't terribly likely.
No, that's the thing. Now, the best case scenario it's about 1 in 5 if you finish last. or 1 in 8.5-ish.
So let's
if you
say the
finish second.
Leafs don't win a single one of the lotteries. That doesn't even necessarily mean they'll pick 5th, because whoever finishes last, Edmonton, could win one of them.
Right.
Which you can groan about Edmonton winning another lottery, but that would mean the Leafs pick 4th.
Right.
So it would almost be a good thing.
Almost.
Except it would be better if the Leafs won.
Let's hope they win. Let's hope they've dropped top 3. That's all I'm hoping for.
For all of us saying something crazy won't happen, I just like to point out that last year in the NBA draft lottery, Cleveland won the number 1 overall pick when they had the 9th worst record in the league.
Did that happen to the Raptors too when they got the first overall
Yeah,
pick?
they jumped, I think, 4 spots.
And they got Bargnani.
And LaMarcus Aldridge
But,
exists.
Cleveland had 1.4% chance of those ping pongs falling for number 1. They got it. So you never
Dude,
know.
imagine if the Kings had won last year. They could have.
Yeah.
Just pull up the lottery thing right now. Let's just do it. People keep saying, "Oh, don't do that. It's gonna be."
Do we want to do it? No.
I'm captivated every time.
You want to do it right
the
now?
simulator?
Yeah.
No, let's not.
Let's keep talking while he runs the thing.
I'm just. It just makes it. It gives me a sickness in my stomach.
Yeah.
Good.
It gives me stress.
Ah! First overall pick. Jesse just clicked it.
Go ahead.
Edmonton, isn't it?
Winnipeg.
Oh, see, I'm okay with that.
Why are you okay with that?
I'm better
Another
with
Canadian team.
I'm better with Winnipeg getting it.
I'd rather go to a team in the West, I guess.
No, I'm just better with anyone but Edmonton.
No, but like imagine Boston doesn't make the playoffs and they win. Holy crap! Now we got to deal with this.
Boston.
Whoever they get. Imagine if someone in
Sure,
Buffalo.
I'm glad to get that Austin Matthews guy.
Oh.
I can't do the Boston. You do the Boston.
I really like.
Max Matthews.
Max.
Acid
He
Matthews.
reminds me of Max Avad when he fatted on an ad vac in the packing garage. But like, imagine if it goes to Buffalo, for example. Buffalo gets a top 3 pick. Then you get a team with.
Oh my God! Can you
Zach
imagine Harrington?
Bogosian, Evander Kane, Sam Reinhart, Jack Eichel. Holy smokes! On and on.
That's a scary team.
No, thank you.
What about-
then the Leafs have to deal with them forever, basically.
What about Harrington? He would just be
Harrington.
our good friend.
Oh, Harrington. Oh, and he would talk about how the draft lottery is such a noble process. Oh, shut up. Jesse, who's picking
Would he
second?
nominate that for the Masterton Trophy too? The draft process?
No, they haven't done anything.
Okay. Okay.
The Toronto Maple Leafs would pick 2nd, and the Edmonton Oilers would pick 3rd.
No, Jesse
Oh,
did it wrong.
no.
Jesse did it
You
wrong.
did
The Leafs have the best
Yeah,
chance.
2 pick 2nd.
So, click it again.
Did they get it?
With the 2nd overall pick,
Why are we doing this?
the Vancouver Canucks, Adam.
Gross.
Oh, would Canucks fans
Stop
just-
rewarding the Aquilinis.
Oh, they would just rub that in our faces. You guys ripped us for like 6 months.
Do you want to pick 3rd?
We'll still rip you, Canucks fans.
I want to see who picks 3rd. The Columbus Blue Jackets.
I hate this new system. I hate it. I
This
hate
could
it.
happen.
And the Leafs would pick 4th. And that is if the Oilers do not pass them for last place. Quote unquote. pass them. And Jesse ran it again. The Leafs pick 1st. So there you go.
Okay.
Go home
I'm better
and
with that.
waste your entire day. Oilers pick 2nd, Coyotes pick 3rd. Go home, NHL Draft Simulator. Go waste your entire day. Or give yourself heart palpitations, whatever. Jesse ran it again and again.
Damn, Vancouver
And it's never the
won.
same. It's never the same.
Do you wonder if Oiler fans and maybe the Oilers organization are going, you know what? We're cool with 2nd or 3rd, draft-wise, even 4th, because then it takes the spotlight off us. Because the only storyline going into that draft will be, man, the Edmonton Oilers have a bad draft record.
You know what? I've thought about stuff like that. And I've also thought about how the Oilers fans can't talk when it comes to mediocrity. Like, Leafs fans, you have no idea what it's like. You know what? There have been sprinkles, little dabbles of hope over the last, decade or so for the Leafs. And they even made the playoffs that one time. That was neat. There have been sprinkles and dabbles of hope. The Oilers have been like bottom 5 for what?
10 years.
5 straight years?
5 straight.
At least? Well, okay, Taylor Hall was picked 1st overall in 2010.
Whoa.
It was 6 years ago. 6 years ago. Jordan Eberle's in like his mid-20s. Like, remember when he was a World Junior kid?
Was that 09?
He was picked in 09. He wasn't like a top 5 pick like these guys.
No.
But
No,
You
but
see
he was
what
the
I'm
hero
saying?
coming out of that tournament.
You see what I'm saying?
So the Detroit Bruins game, Jesse, you wanted to get mad about something. What was it?
With the
Oh,
standings.
the standings. So
And this is as it stands when we're recording it. It
Yeah.
might look very different from the
However, valid point.
time. Oh, totally.
So currently, Pittsburgh would play New York in the first round, which would be the 2 playing the 4 seed. Detroit would play Tampa in the first round, which is the 6 versus the 7 seed.
What?
Why would you organize it this way? Why not just seed everyone by your conference 1 through 8 once they get into the playoffs through this crazy wildcard system? Why you have the 6 playing the 7 seed in the first? Why are you're penalizing Pittsburgh for finishing in second place?
Yeah, and
It would have been better if Pittsburgh finished in a wildcard spot.
I'm still trying to figure out this system, and I think I just came up with an idea. It's not necessarily to build rivalries, although it will. I mean, if you keep playing the same team every year. I mean, because think of some of the ones from our youth. Edmonton, Dallas was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
They faced each other.
But you know what they didn't do then?
What?
All the stuff that they do to try to create rivalries. They just
They
played
just
a normal
happened.
schedule.
You're
They
absolutely
just
right.
happened.
Detroit, Colorado
Yes.
was a huge one.
They just happened, though.
Philly, Pittsburgh will live on forever just because their fan bases hate each other. Calgary, Edmonton, stuff like that. But here's something I just thought of. TV. Like, you're protecting regions, right? You're making sure a team from each division makes it through, right? And the divisions are kind of geographical to an
True.
extent.
True.
Yeah.
Is that maybe part of it? You're
Probably
protecting
is.
regions?
Yeah, I mean, especially if Pittsburgh and Philly get in, you want one Pennsylvania team.
You might get to.
You might get two. You want
first
that
round, at
represented. Pennsylvania's big market. New York's a big market. I imagine Florida's a growing market. There's a lot of people. Tampa might be a smaller market team in terms of the NHL, but it's still a pretty important one. I think that, especially in the South, where, you could argue that Tampa Bay is the strongest of the Southern NHL teams.
You just
Discounting
pissed off a lot of
California. California's like mid.
Oh, boy.
Well,
It's okay. It's okay. Enjoy your Twitter.
Okay.
All I'm saying is, for the regular season to mean something, you can't have a team who finishes second in the entire conference playing the number 4 seed and saying, hey, your record finishing second didn't mean anything. You're getting a great team in the first round.
Yeah. Now, what I was thinking is it adds an element of randomness to it, and it almost makes the first round more even than it used to be. But you're right. You're not giving a team... There's no reward for being awesome in the regular season.
For those 82 games you played.
And who doesn't want a story where an 8th seed comes in and kicks the butt of a 1st seed?
Exactly.
Rarely happened, but when it did, it was a story.
When
it was cool.
the Habs, I forget what year, the Yaroslav Halak Habs,
Yes.
down I think it was the President's Trophy winning Washington Capitals, that was unbelievable. And it gave Yaroslav Halak money for the rest of his career, too.
Yeah.
Because really, before that, who was he?
And who's he been?
And who's he been? The conference final that year was the 7th seed Philadelphia Flyers against the 8th seed Habs. And the Flyers went to the final where they played the Chicago Blackhawks, who won their first of 3 cups in 6 years.
So
I don't remember how to long divide, but I remember all that.
So when we come back on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, something that we have basically founded this podcast on, and that we've talked about for the entire time it's been on. The Leafs just scored, didn't they?
And it was Grabner.
Wow.
And it was Ghost Bear who got... And he scored on a breakaway.
Wow.
Oh, this is how you know they're just not destined to pick last or first. What? Oh, you...
That was pretty.
Oh, that
Wow,
was a good goal,
Mason got embarrassed.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Hey, so when we come back on Sportsnet 590 The
Let's not
Fan,
do play-by-play.
Wayne Gretzky agrees with us, guys. Do I have your attention again? Wayne Gretzky said the exact same thing that we always say. The thing is, when Wayne Gretzky talks, people actually listen.
He said that Panago Pizza is the best?
Agreed. Well, I mean, paraphrase that part. But
Who is that person?
who is that? What person?
The Wayne dude.
You know what? I'll get you a resume, and when we come back, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Wayne Gretzky says today's NHL lacks creativity and imagination.
Wow. How dare you, Wayne? How dare you be correct? Now, wait a sec. Wayne is saying that the NHL today lacks creativity and imagination.
That's exactly what Adam did.
That is. No,
Actually, it's what Wayne said.
Oh, it's what Wayne.
I didn't say it. It was Wayne, but I have said it.
You score. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott. I just wanted to emphasize that because he says it's a lack of imagination
And creativity.
What was it?
But is a way to inject imagination and creativity into the NHL just shrinking the pads and increasing the size of the nets? That's how you do it, right?
Here's what Wayne had to say in his article with the New York Times. You know what? I don't necessarily disagree with what you just said. I don't necessarily disagree with it at all. Necessarily.
I
don't want you to remember that Wayne played on the Oilers, who averaged about, 5.95 goals per game in the 80s or something?
Here's the thing
stupid
about
stat.
Wayne Gretzky, Adam. Wayne Gretzky didn't play on the Oilers. The Oilers played with Wayne.
Right. Right.
The man with more assists than the second place scorer of all time has points.
Who, by the way, I interviewed again this week, Mark Messier.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Really nice guy.
So you're up to 2 Mark Messier interviews now?
Yeah. And I interviewed Adam Graves today.
Oh, cool.
New York
Did he
Rangers.
remember you?
Adam Graves?
No, Messier.
No.
No?
No, he didn't
I
remember
got
me.
Connor Brown today.
That's cool.
Jelly.
Yeah?
Yeah, you are.
He's an NHL player. He's great.
Also the goalie for Team Hard to Pronounce. Kashmir Kashkishwa.
Nice. So here's what Wayne said. When I was 10 years old, they'd throw a puck on the ice and say, go score. Now at 10 years old, kids are taught to play in their lanes. Stay in your lanes! Defensemen stay back. Everybody blocks shots. He's like, I mean, my goodness. I don't think I ever blocked a shot, and I killed penalties every single game. I thought goaltenders were paid to block shots, not forwards. It's changed completely. I think the biggest thing we've lost is a little bit of our creativity and imagination in general. Which is Wayne Gretzky's way of saying, game's more boring now.
Now, how many greats have to come out and say these things before we start listening?
I think that's a really good question. The only bad thing I can ever remember Michael Jordan saying about basketball is that he ripped LeBron a little bit when LeBron signed in Miami and said, I wouldn't call Larry Bird and Patrick Ewing and sign on the same team with them.
But that's not an indictment of the sport.
No, it's not.
That's an indictment of sportsmanship.
But I mean, that's my only example.
Or gamesmanship.
The only thing I hear about from football players is injuries. Like, you know, and the NFLPA is a little bit sketchy too. But, you know, like in baseball players, it was the steroid stuff. For hockey, which is the scariest part, like those are all kind of fixable things. Hockey is a boring thing. That sucks.
Football is football.
Yeah.
Soccer is soccer. Basketball is basketball. What baseball is baseball. The most stubborn sport on the planet, probably. Hockey is still figuring out what the hell it is. Hockey's still in its 14-year-old emo, no one gets what I am phase.
But here's
with
the
its
thing.
glowing pucks and trapezoid and all this other crap that they've come up with over the last few years.
Was hockey that before this era? And I'm going to go out and just say it. Era. The Gary Bettman era.
Last era. No, sorry.
Was it like this before Gary Bettman? And I think hockey in the 70s and 80s, which was just wild. Hockey in the 70s and 80s knew what it was.
Hockey before 1985 is people talk about the all-time greats. Bobby Orr. I saw a tweet the other day, how dare you compare Bobby Orr to Erik Karlsson? I agree, how dare you, because they play two different sports. Bobby Orr played what they called ice hockey back then.
And by the way, his team played with him too.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, the Boston Bruins happened to play with Bobby Orr. Bobby Orr played ice hockey, you know, what was called ice hockey back then.
Right.
Erik Karlsson plays what was called ice hockey right now. You put Erik Karlsson against any goalie from that era, he finishes the season with 400 goals. Before 1985, it's like the goalie for every team was just the little brother of the star player. They sucked. They were no good, and it was a different sport. When did they invent curved blades?
Right. Yeah. I don't even know. 80s?
What year did the power play rule come in? Where the penalty is over?
50s or 60s because of the Montreal Canadiens and Rocket Richard.
But there are like major rule changes still happening, and it's like almost every year. Hybrid icing is like a brand new thing. We're still figuring out what
Two-line pass.
Two-line pass. And these are all
century.
things. It's funny. Hockey is constantly fighting itself. We're changing the rules to make it a better breeding ground for offense, and yet a lot of the way it's taught is,
defense.
Not even defense. Like just grit. Like grit doesn't. People have this skewed view that grit means defense. A defenseman who throws a lot of hits is a defenseman I want on my team. No, a defenseman who throws a lot of hits is a defenseman who never has the puck. Byfuglien throws hits when he has to. Like, I don't know what the number of hits he throws are. Someone might tweet it at me and go, he leads the league, stupid. But when he lays you out, he separates you from the puck, and then he has the puck. Or one of his teammates does, or two guys from the other team jump him. You know what I mean? It's just this war. It's this war. I bet if you taught the game differently, you wouldn't need all these stupid rule changes. You wouldn't be talking about making the goalie pad smaller, which just makes goalies faster and more flexible. You wouldn't be talking about increasing the size of the net. You just, kind of have a better product.
Well, yeah, and I wonder too. I always wonder this. There's a snowball effect in everything, and every time you change a rule, other rules are affected by it. Other pre-existing rules are affected by it. And every time you allow for pad changes to happen unchecked, things are affected by it. And that's really what happened here. I mean, I really truly believe you look at the quality of NHL pads from 1986 to 2006.
Oh.
It's, like NHL pads used to be heavy.
Kyprios, I think, had a quote I saw in something a few years ago, and it was basically like, 1 year the pads just kind of changed, and then he became unstoppable. You look at a hockey player out there, they look like RoboCop, and it does make the player wearing it more safe, but the guys they come in contact with are dead. They're dead. Like, hockey is interesting in that, a surprising way to actually make MMA or boxing safer. Make them not wear gloves. Actually,
really,
you can't throw punches as hard. You'll break your hands.
Bare knuckle boxing.
If you're not wearing a glove, you can't punch the guy as hard.
Wow.
And you can't do it for 12 rounds. Floyd Mayweather breaks his hands all the time. Imagine if you made that guy fight bare knuckle. Now apply that to hockey equipment. You can't throw 20 hits a game going full 2016 NHL speed if you're not wearing the RoboCop stuff that they wear today. If you give them the, doilies your grandma's knit that they used to wear in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, my dad...
It's a reason why rugby's a lot safer than football.
Jesse nailed it. Jesse freaking nailed it. And people get hurt in rugby all the time, but it's not like...
devastating.
There's a reason there's a concussion at basically every, line of scrimmage in football. It's because these guys are wearing, like, the equipment
army
makes them it makes them like a ram, but rams have different skulls, different brains. Our little brains still slosh around in there. In rugby, you can't do that because it kind of hurts to bump heads a little bit.
So it prevents you. Yeah.
It's true. And you got to slow down a little bit.
Well, my dad
This is an entirely different conversation from the one Mr. Gretzky was having.
My dad used to talk about how when they would pull their skates out of their bag when they were going to play hockey. And by the way, my dad played hockey in Montreal growing up. They played on outdoor rinks. Like, their house league was an outdoor rinks. There was no indoor rinks.
So
that didn't exist.
Sick.
Yeah.
And they used to skate to school because there was ice all over the streets and there was no salters back then.
Uphill both ways.
Yeah.
No, but they actually, not uphill, both in their pajamas.
We believed in Santa Claus when we were 26.
But my dad said the skates, they used to pull them out of the bag, and you know how a boot looks like a boot? He said the leather would just flop to the side.
Which... it can't be safe, but
he's still walking around.
I know. There have been some equipment advances that have been
good for the game, sure.
For the players.
Sure, I just think it's just amazing how my dad is, in his 60s now, but
that wasn't too long ago.
That was not that long ago. It wasn't. Yeah. It's you know what? I actually, Steve, you kind of alluded to it and made fun of it. I really truly believe that you have to limit what Like goalies literally they come out looking like the fat version of Tony Stark's Iron Man. You know, there's the stocky Tony Stark Iron Man in one of those movies, in the second Iron Man where he's got like 18,000 of them.
But it's gotten better though.
Yeah, but it's still not there. And I don't want to change the net size, but I really, I think you got to narrow those pads. Narrow the pads. You can have them be ultralight all you want.
They have been. What? Like someone showed recently, I think it was like Felix Potvin from the early 90s. And they're like, look how small pads used to be. It's dishonest. That's how it looked in the early 90s. Go look at what Garth Snow and Patrick Waugh and Roman Czechmanic were wearing in the late 90s. They looked like lacrosse goalies, except they got to wear more pads on their lower bodies.
Yeah.
They looked ridiculous.
But that's what I'm thinking. Right? Like lacrosse goalies have a huge, they're top heavy for sure.
Yeah.
But they're wearing shin pads and that's it. And you know,
but goalies
you want to increase goals in the NHL? Make those pads. I'm not saying wear just shin guards, but thin along the legs.
They've already thinned them though.
Thin them more.
And a guy like Carey Price, who is such a technical goalie, and all the goalies are becoming so cookie cutter, they can be more athletic because these pads are lighter and smaller. There's less in their way.
I don't know, man. I just think you have regulation sticks, you have regulation pucks, you have all those things. Why are pads not highly regulated and weighted and, you know, put weights in them?
There should be something to put weights in them, Adam.
Why not?
What do you mean, like weigh them down?
Yeah.
Like how they do NASCARs?
Yeah.
Like how all NASCARs have to be the same weight?
All that NASCAR. Why not?
And then first intermission comes and the goalie yanks him out. And then there's all that kind of
Hey, listen.
It'll be the goalie version of the curved stick.
And you know what? You make fun.
Yeah.
You make fun, then what would you like to do?
Teach the game differently.
Okay, so that's going to work. Because that's worked so far.
Hey, look.
Listen, if you want to make a change, you can't not make a change. I was in a meeting the other day, and then this, I'm not going to say particularly what this was, but they said we want to make this product better, and everybody in the room's like, yeah, and it's like we want it to be like this, and everybody in the room's like, yeah, and they said, okay, so here are the three major things that make up this product: part A, part B, part C. They went through. Okay, so who wants to make adjustments to part A? Oh no, let's not touch part A. Okay, let's take a look at part B. Oh no, what we do with part B, it's really good. Okay, well, that leaves us with part C. No, you can't touch part C because part C is really fundamental to what this thing is. And I sat there and I made a suggestion in the meeting, crazy as it sounded, and said, what if we did this? And everyone's like, no. So we literally went through, and a few other people did this. We went through every single facet of what this made this product what it was. We all agreed we wanted to change it. Nobody wanted to make an actual change.
Who wants to be in shape? Yeah! Who wants to go to the gym every day? Well, there you go.
So am I crazier for suggesting that? Or am I crazy or is it crazy to suggest to say we want change and then do nothing?
I think it is changing. I think the game is changing. Look at the Leafs have preached getting the puck and puck possession and a different style of game. I think there's once it actually starts, showing dividends on the ice and the team gets better, people will start following that. But also look at the stars in junior and the stuff they can do with their stick and their hands.
Mm-hmm. That part is very creative. Like what?
It is very creative. The OHL is just light years ahead of the NHL in that it's getting rid of fighting. It's getting rid of a lot of dirty things. And I think the game is changing at that level, and it's going to translate to the NHL level. The future is always in the kids, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think the guys coming out of junior are going to change the game before any other stupid rule changes do.
You should check out the Leafs Instagram from today.
Ooh.
Tobias Lindbergh is playing with a puck, and he's doing the Tiger Woods thing with it.
He's 20 years old.
Yep, 20 years old. He's doing the Tiger Woods thing with the puck at warm-up.
Bouncing it on a stick.
And then he flips it over his back and kicks out his left foot and kicks the puck in the air with his left foot like it was nothing. It was the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. There's the creativity. I just hope they let him do that in the actual game. Not something like that, but I hope that creativity is allowed to manifest itself into something, Because that's more than just hand-eye coordination. That's a creative thing to do.
Like, here's an example of something. Martin Brodeur. was so good at handling the puck. He basically ruined the game. And they instituted a new rule where you're not allowed to handle the puck. The goalie's not allowed to handle the puck in a certain area. Now imagine if the NBA was like, Steph Curry is breaking basketball. We need to outlaw 3-pointers. Like, that is kind of the equivalent of it. Or we got to make it so that 3-pointers are only worth 2.
Find a way around it.
No, don't take the advantage that Martin Brodeur earned away from him. Make everyone elevate their game to Martin Brodeur's level.
Right.
Don't punish Steph Curry for what he can do. Make everyone else elevate and try to... How do you box Steph Curry out? How do you do this?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Find a way. That's where the creativity comes in. And
let's get rid of bicycle kicks in soccer because not everyone can do them. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and
Carey Price is stopping you. Figure out how to beat him.
The thing that I love too is, and I totally thought this was creative, and everybody hated it because the NHL in my mind is stuck in the past. When Sean Avery got in Brodeur's face, and his only goal was to wave his stick in Brodeur's face.
Oh yeah.
I know everybody's listening and going, I hated that. That was one of the most creative things that an NHLer has done in the last decade.
I hated it at the time too, but when you think about it, he's taking himself out of the play.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Move him. You're allowed to move him.
Move him. But they changed the rules, and it was some BS rule that came in that was like, well, the Sean Avery rules well, that's not in the spirit of the game. What? Okay, a game where we punch each other's lights out, that's okay, that's cool.
Whoa, wow.
But waving his stick and distracting the goaltender instead of physically hitting the goaltender in his crease, that's worse. Really? That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
And by the way, how come Alex Ovechkin scores 40 or 50 goals every year?
Steve.
Like, why don't we... Like,
we need to stop that, by the way.
While league scoring has been down, he's been A-okay.
No one-timers.
What? Instead of going, what is wrong with the game, go, what are we doing that Alex Ovechkin... Or what aren't we doing that Alex Ovechkin is?
Good point.
Why is Sidney Crosby always so good? Why is he always so good?
No more players from Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia. Period. Over.
You're right. Oh,
End of an era.
We'll have to, and we'll make sure that Nathan McKinnon is the last from Cole Harbour.
We are out.
We are done with Cole Harbour.
It ceases.
The end of the Cole Harbour era. Done with Cole Harbour, Mr. Scientist. It's Wayne Gretzky, once again, had more assists than the second highest scorer in the history of the game had points. What did he do that everyone else didn't?
Played a lot of hockey in his backyard rink.
So there's that. What do the best players do? Why don't we... It's almost like theories I've heard about how school is taught. It's like we go to school and we learn things that make us better peons. Basically, we make us better like office workers. Teach kids stuff teach them how to be a freaking astronaut. Teach them how to be a scientist. Teach them how to be, we're basically going to kids and teaching them how to be plugs.
Yeah.
Because every team needs plugs.
Absolutely.
Every team needs plugs, but
because the theory was when our current school system was set up, it was during like the industrial sort of end of the Industrial Revolution, and they set it up for they wanted you at school.
You told me about this in Ottawa, I think.
Yeah, it was like 9 a.m. or something like that. They wanted you at school at 8 or 9 a.m. or something like that because that's when most of the shifts started for our workers, for people that worked in factories, which is what our economy was 110, 115 years ago.
20 years ago.
20 years ago. and so that's why school's set up the way it is. It's to be a worker, right?
Make you an ant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't teach me how to be an ant. I want to be a lion. Wayne Gretzky was a lion. Okay? We need less ants and more lions. Okay? So, you know what? Okay. So, I mean, Jesus, yeah, let's have them all shoot on a soccer net. Like, that'll definitely increase goal scoring. It'll also make goals less special. But what?
Yeah, that will be the first article. How goals are less special in the NHL.
How goals are less special. But what do the best players do? Let's teach that.
Yeah.
What does Patrice Bergeron do? Like, we always talk about like the playing hockey the right way and having a good stick and mucking and grinding and hitting. Patrice Bergeron is the best two-way forward in this game. What does he do? Let's teach that to kids.
It's true. Because we kind of, for a long time there, and especially growing up in hockey, we were teaching the Robbie Ftorek New Jersey Devil system, which was trap. It was the trap system. It was, how do you neutralize the neutral zone? And you get a couple goals, and then you just sit back and neutralize them, and just let them come.
And then we started changing the rules because no one could raise themselves above
that system.
Like,
I remember the CBC doing a story on it. How the system changed the game,
hockey.
How it was slowing the game down. I remember watching the Leafs and the Devils when they met a couple times. How boring those games were, and Pat Quinn could not figure it out.
I only in the last couple of years have like not hated the Devils because of one game from my childhood where the Devils scored, I think, in the first 5 minutes, and they won the game 1-0. I remember it felt like the game was 6 hours.
Didn't the Leafs have like 6 shots that entire game or something?
No. That was game 7 against the Devils one year.
Hey, we got to go on the radio portion of this. It's not depressing. We're just saying we got to make some changes here.
I thought that was a good conversation. We could keep going.
We could. Sportsnet 590 The Fan. You can download the Steve Dangle podcast at sportsnet.ca or subscribe on iTunes. Steve Dangle Podcast. It's brought to you by Panago Pizza. What's on the inside that counts? Steve, do you want to read what you just found out?
Well, supposedly, Marc Bergevin is going to confirm that Michel Therrien returned to the. This is the online portion, right? Mm-hmm. Apparently, Dreger said that Bergevin is going to confirm that Michel Therrien's going to return as Habs coach either on the weekend or next week. By the way, they could win the draft lottery too.
Speaking of
They'd
which,
play Austin Matthews on defense, though, because he's not ready for center.
With his defense partner, Alex Galchenyuk.
I have run the draft simulator 76 times.
Wow.
How many?
Wow.
Which team has won it the most?
I guess we know why Jesse's been so quiet.
Did you
I
see
saw.
it?
Yeah, by
Damn
accident.
it.
Sorry.
Adam, what's your guess?
Ask the question again.
Which team has won the simulator the most times out of 76?
I ruined it.
Edmonton.
Edmonton Oilers.
Of course.
That's 16.
Oh!
Jesse also.
Oh!
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, I was looking at the wrong one. I'm less mad.
Man.
Anyways, Montreal.
The Leafs picked first 11 times, second 10 times, third 10 times.
I'm good with all that. Top 3. That's all I'm asking for. Top 3. Hey, I want to say something. And I'm gonna brag a little bit here. But first, I'm going to talk about Skate to Great. SkateToGreat.org. If you donate pads to that organization, you're doing good because they're giving it to kids that need it.
But before you ship them, you can save a lot of shipping by taking the weights out of the pads.
I know that was a ridiculous idea. But
I know what you meant.
Something.
You didn't mean putting like physical
weights.
metal 5-pound weights. You
Yeah.
meant making.
No, let's try that.
On your front calves.
Yeah.
Here's your back shins and your front calves.
and make sure they're at like where the knee is. So like when you drop to the butterfly, you like dislocate your kneecap.
Sure, of course, absolutely.
Cringe.
Jonathan Drouin.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Jonathan Drouin scored a lot when he returned to the organization of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Scored a lot. Jonathan Drouin was called up. Now, if he stays in the lineup, he played last night and they all stick-tapped him. Cool.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Good for them.
If he stays in the lineup till Saturday, he will burn year 2 of his entry-level deal. Interesting.
Oh.
But beyond that, one of the questions that we were asked in the press conference a mere month ago by Jesse was, do you think if he came back, do you guys think that he could play on the playoff roster potentially? Mm-hmm. And at that time, both y'all said nah.
I'm pretty sure I said no,
Yeah.
We did both say no.
And I just want to say, we're 2 games away. I can't say confirmed, but Steven Stamkos is not playing. And if I'm the Tampa Bay Lightning, I want my weapons. Do I not?
Of course you do.
I just think it's not very shocking that he's playing good hockey when he's paying attention, not crying for a trade. Like,
see, this is Jesse not admitting he's wrong again. No, but you're right. You are right. You're 100% right. I'm bugging you. You are right. Focus on the game.
On the lines of Jonathan Drouin, I saw a tweet before the game. I think it was from PetBugs13. I think I might be crediting the wrong guy, but he goes, Jonathan Drouin holds out, asks for more money, and he needs to grow up. Drew Doughty holds out and asks for more money. Give him a Norris. People forget that ever happened.
Yeah, I forgot that.
Exactly.
One of them earned it. Ooh. So one of them deserves more money,
Jesse,
but not a Norris.
You know what?
I thought I was going to get heat from California fans. You, sir.
Doughty's contract was up. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
And by the way, regardless who wins the Norris this year, we still win.
What do you mean?
It'll be noteworthy no matter who wins. And
yeah.
It'll be fun because I don't actually care who wins.
Yeah. Does anyone care? Maybe it's because we're Leaf fans and we never have a horse in that race.
That's true.
If we had a horse in that race, I think maybe we'd care.
You know,
it's been a long time though.
I was talking to Berkshire about an award yesterday, and it didn't blow up nearly as much as I thought it would. I thought people would be genuinely outraged about this. But the King Clancy Award is given to the player who. Jesse, can you look up the exact definition? But it's basically for leadership and, for lack of a better word, charity. Mm-hmm. You know, involvement in the community. Who is the slam dunk nominee for the Montreal Canadiens?
PK Subban.
Yeah, he kind of donated $10 million. Yeah, he's not their nominee.
Who's their nominee?
It's Max Pacioretty.
Patches.
Now, this is voted on by the players. So we can't yell and scream about sports writers in this one. Now, what Berkshire said was, this is probably just an FU from the players to all the media members and fans who question Pacioretty's leadership ability. And what's great is Subban's commitment to this hospital that he donated all this money to is over years and years and years.
5 years. So
he could easily win the King Clancy next year.
And the year after.
And the year after for a good deed that he did this year that he was not even nominated for this year.
Boy,
I just thought that would get a lot more attention.
Suddenly Montreal's far more dysfunctional than things are here.
It's great, isn't it?
Wow. And they're getting their coach back. How lucky. Guy Boucher is going to end up somewhere else. They're going to miss out on Guy Boucher. Watch it. Someone's going to get let go. Guy Boucher was almost the Leafs head coach, by the way, before they got Babcock. He had the job. And then they're like, oh, sorry, we got Babcock.
Bruins don't make the playoffs. Claude Julien.
They're saying Pacioretty's nomination was for getting his own name on... He established a foundation in his own name with the Montreal General Hospital.
Oh, okay. I mean, look, it's not like he doesn't do anything.
No, we're not taking away his nomination. It's just that PK probably did more. You could argue.
Yeah, but then if he is the nominee and, you're giving a leadership award to the guy you didn't give the captaincy to. You gave it to Max Pacioretty and says, it's just, we need to do an end-of-the-year award show, and we need to do Biggest Gong Show. Because I already...
Franchise or player?
Franchise.
Team. Okay.
Franchise. Team. I declared the Habs the winner months ago. Woo! There have been some contenders this year, man.
Sure have.
The Blue Jackets.
Canucks.
Edmonton.
And the Canucks.
Edmonton, low-key. Yeah.
Oh, yes. I started a point earlier and I didn't finish it. Oh, wait, no, I did. No, I did. I said the Leafs. The Leafs have had glimmers of hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, my bad.
Well... It's funny.
I remembered something and then forgot what I remembered, and then
it's very
whatever. We're not on the radio anymore. Fuck it.
It's funny what you mentioned with you mentioned with oh my god.
See how much more left.
I'm so tired. It's funny what you mentioned the teams that are Gong Show-esque. The Avalanche have to be included in that, by the way.
Interesting.
Anytime a head coach is calling a 30-goal scorer, I'm weary. And anytime your head coach is Patrick Waugh, there's going to be some dramatic elements to your team, no matter what. Whether you're winning or you're losing, Patrick Waugh invites that.
The Time Bomb Award.
Yeah. I'm going to put Edmonton in that category, too, because it's interesting to see what happens when people who are used to winning start to lose. And I'm talking specifically about Todd McClellan and Peter Chiarelli. They're looking at this team, And they're seeing what Craig McTavish saw, what Todd Nelson saw, what Dallas Aikens saw, what Kevin Lowe saw. So much potential. Can't put it together. And I would be just as frustrated. They are, you could tell, I almost feel like Tom McClellan and Peter Chiarelli probably just go into a room, a soundproof room, lock it, and scream.
Kelly Rudy, who is like one of the nicest people I've ever met, went on like a Hockey Night in Canada rant about Jordan Eberle and how he's like just an incomplete hockey player. Heads are going to roll, man. Heads are going to roll. I think Yak's gone. I think Eberle's probably gone. On the Oilers. There's going to be major change. I mean, geez, they should be ahead of where they are.
Absolutely.
Now, there's an argument for McDavid missed a big chunk of the season. Oscar Klefbom had a staph infection. I knew there was an injury on the back end. I didn't know he had a staph infection.
But McDavid is 18 years old.
Yes, and it is unfair to put that on an 18-year-old and have him be such a key part of the team. But they have him.
It's the same thing with Montreal. Is the team, if one player goes, the rest of the 18 players who suit up or 17 players that suit up should not be that bad.
Look at how the Blackhawks are playing without Seabrook or Keith.
They're still Blackhawks.
Still the Blackhawks. You know, poor Oilers. I do feel bad for their fans.
I do too.
I'm glad they won their last game in Rexall for multiple reasons. One being for their fans, another being for the Leafs fans.
Today, guys, is the anniversary of something.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And it's fantastic in the sense that it spawned many a joke. And you know, certain jokes, they, especially, you know, like on a show like this, we got our inside jokes. Some last forever. Some last for a month. Some last for a week.
Some fuck a duck.
Yeah, exactly. But this one, a year later, is right up there with I'm Here to See Steve, which also is probably almost a year old, coming up. Because she was on what, August?
August, yeah.
That's coming up.
2 months away.
The one and only Mark Madden appeared on this episode, not in person, on this episode a year ago today.
On the episode titled Mystery Dicks, by the way.
What was that joke?
I don't know.
I know there was something there.
Don't remember.
But anyway.
I love when people are like, man, I love the episode where you said this.
And I'm like, I have no idea. I think our last episode, by the way, was 250. Did you know that?
Oh, seriously?
I think it was 250.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. It's what it said in my car. I don't know.
3-year anniversary coming up.
Let's not talk about that. Okay.
No.
3 years. Anyway, we'll talk about that when we get to the 3 year. But I want to play the Mark Madden clip that started it all in its entirety. We will laugh, but we will not stop the clip. Okay?
And I want to say we got this from the Pens blog,
who we love. Thumbs up to the Pens blog, who Mark Madden does not love.
Derek, you're on the Mark Madden Show.
So your solution to fixing the Penguins is to trade Evgeny Malkin or Sidney Crosby. But yet you never, ever, in your whole time on your show, have ever offered who you would want back. You've never done that once.
I don't know.
Well,
I'll tell you. First off, we'll wait till the season's over. I can tell you roughly what I'd want back.
Who are they going to get back for equal value, Mark? You can't just say, trade Evgeny Malkin or Sidney Crosby. Who are you?
You know what?
Back?
Would you just shut up for a second? I'll answer your question. If you think, okay, right, like I would really run from a question some moron caller has. Seriously, okay, hung up. You know what? Now you don't get your question answered, you POS. You don't get your question answered. Some of you people, you know what? Nobody out there knows as much about hockey as I do.
There it is.
And right now, sadly, that includes Penguins management. A lot of teams couldn't afford to trade for the contract of Crosby or Malkin because of their cap problems. You might wind up just getting a whole bunch of draft picks. But if that's what you got to do, that's what
you got to do. Instead, what they did was they went out and they traded for Phil Kessel.
Okay. This guy's he's confronting me with like actual like things and content and ideas, and I'm kind of tripping over it. And you know what? No, okay, I'm gonna go straight to shtick. No one knows more about hockey than I do. You POS there. Now the listeners are back on my side. And now we just talk about every possibility under the sun. Maybe they get a superstar player. Maybe they just get a bunch of draft picks.
Sometimes you got to be okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, they could easily get a defenseman.
Now,
what about some help in net? What about, and then 45 minutes later, you've listed all the possibilities, and congrats, you're an excellent sports host.
Now, to all of our Yinzer fans, and you know who you are, we love you.
Yeah, settle down.
This is, this is great.
No, settle down.
Settle down. I want to bring up another thing. This is where Mark Madden, and I dug this up today. I figured we should mark the anniversary with a new clip. This is where Mark Madden goes off on fan blogs.
Oh.
Now, he goes off.
Have we played this?
No. He goes specifically off on Penn's blog, but it applies to us in the sense that, Steve, you started on fan blogs.
I still do.
Your videos are called Leaf Fan Reactions.
Which is funny because it's becoming less of a fan thing and more of an expert thing, but that happens over time.
No.
Well, but
what qualifies me, though?
Okay, well, we're not getting into it. We're not getting into it.
That's a whole other
what qualifies you? You suck. You suck. No one should listen to what you say.
Yeah, correct.
People do listen to what you say, making you at least a pundit. But anyway.
That's a whole other conversation.
Mark Madden basically says that in this clip, and this is so great, it's so him, that we the people, we the fans, know nothing, and that our little humorous takes on sports, humor and sports, has an expiration date. Just buy.
I need to hear this. I need to hear it.
Let's go to a guy whose name we don't know, but we welcome him anyway. You're on 105.9 The X.
Hey, Mark, I tell you what, man, you've been the king for years in the Pittsburgh media, and I'm so upset on Twitter right now.
What?
It's the same guy.
No, it's not.
No,
that sure sounds like it.
No. He said, but you've been this actual video is posted by a fan of Mark Madden.
But
comments have been disabled.
The caller
Sounds
like the same caller.
Not the same caller. Not the same caller.
Sure?
Yes. 100% not the same caller.
All right, I'm sorry. Play it from the beginning.
Okay, all right.
Sorry.
Let's go to a guy whose name we don't know, but we welcome him anyway. You're on 105.9 The X.
Hey, Mark, I tell you what, man, you've been the king for years in the Pittsburgh media, and I'm so upset on Twitter right now. Bloggers in the press box, don't get me started, first of all. But the Penn's blog, what they're doing, saying Pittsburgh media kings, this and that, just a bunch of jealousy, man. Like, I've been a blogger myself trying to compete with you. There's no competing with the king, you know what I mean? What are these kids going to learn?
Well, Josh, there's no competing with professionals. That goes for you, that goes for the Penn's blog.
All right. Keep listening.
Bloggers are professionals nowadays. You lose.
Goes for everybody. Like somebody like Seth Rohrabaugh at the Post-Gazette, he blogs, but he's a professional. He's a full-time journalist. Anybody who is a fan and does a fan's blog, it can be interesting. But even that interesting aspect, the witty aspect, the fun aspect, that comes with a definite expiration date. And a lot of blogs around here, especially, you said it, the Penn's blog, has hit the expiration date. It's not cool and nobody really cares anymore because it's staffed by amateurs. Even the best amateur is still an amateur. If an amateur remains an amateur indefinitely and doesn't become a professional, there's a reason for that. Sorry, but it's true. It's damn true. And these blogs like to then get revenge on me for saying stuff like that by ridiculing me on their blog. Gee, I'd hate for the couple hundred people who read that to think less of me. I don't know what I would do if that would happen. 412-333-9939. And with all due respect to the Penguins and to Jason Seidling and Jen Milano, and I got a feeling this decision comes from above because I can't see them doing that if they were left to their own devices. Fanboy bloggers should not be in the press box. They should not ever, not once, be in the press box. There is no reason for them to be there. Is that catering to them, trying to win their favor? Why do you give a flying fornication what these fanboys think of you? Let them buy a ticket like everybody else. They can do what they do.
So just so we're summing up Mark Madden's argument, why would you care what the fans think of you?
That opinion should have the Jurassic Park theme playing in the back. You Jurassic old fart. How dare you have any fun? You know, if you want some career advice, you take it from some guy who came from the WCW.
and is now
a wrestling commentator.
and not even that.
Guys, like-
who's doing a local radio show?
Now here-
he can't even get like a national. Come on.
No, you know what though? He's getting international attention right now.
You're
from
right.
us.
You're right.
So you know what? Mark Madden. I will go this far. Mark Madden's good at his job.
Sure.
In that he gets reaction. All
Totally.
three of us are reaction.
Yep.
Look at Jesse. Look at you. Look at me. We're
You're
all
right.
mad right now. He got us to react, okay? The guy I got a bone to pick with is the fucking caller. The goddamn sheep that called in it.
You're the king.
Hey, man, I blog and what I hate so much is when I see this shit on Twitter, all right? And there is just a legion of sheep. Mm-hmm. There's just a legion of people who they just want to be recognized. You know, by the king, by the master. Like,
so they want. Okay, so they've got their bully leader. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like when you're a jet all the way.
It's not even that. It's just they're the people who look. The beauty of our listeners is they tell us to fuck off sometimes.
Yeah.
You know why? Because we're talking. You know what? We're not amateurs about this. We're professionals. Do we not all do this professionally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do all do this professionally.
Our opinions are bulletproof, and our listeners tell us fuck off. And we have the right to go, well, fuck you too.
Well, can I...
go, hey, that's a great point. But there are just legions of people dying to
just
follow.
agree. Just agree.
To just follow.
Agree.
Tons of drones.
Now, what gets me is I want to figure out what his definition of what makes you a professional is.
Adam, you're trying to
reasoning with madness. I know.
No. It would be better if you were reasoning with madness. You were trying to reason with a character. You're trying to reason with a shtick. I don't even think he believes that shit.
No, he doesn't. He came from the WCW. And the other thing is what gets me, but I have to go here.
Okay.
Is that Mark Madden puts himself in the professional category, which is hilarious because I'd like to see his journalism degree. Listen, I haven't got one.
Me neither.
But neither does he. And if he does, I'd like to see what school. And then I'd like to call that school and go, just so you're aware. Send him a demo tape.
Dude, I wouldn't care.
It's the point is this.
I'm less upset with him and I'm more upset with the people who
follow him.
Follow. Not even listen. Follow.
It's, you know what? It's everybody's got their opinions.
I'm going to call in and talk about the bloggers.
Of which I am one. He even says he's a blogger. Anyway.
And he's going to talk to his 4 friends on the weekend about how he had such a wicked fucking call. Did you see the Patton Oswalt movie about me?
There's a there's a little bit left. Should we play it? I don't know how it goes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, all right.
Just as easily sitting in the stands or at home in front of their TVs as they can sitting in the press box. Having a blogger sit in the press box is a gratuitous insult to a professional like me. Never mind a professional like Dave Molinari or Mike Lang, guys who have covered the team seemingly since the beginning. It's just not right. It's not professional. They are not professionals. 412-333.
And there goes the call. That's it.
The sharpest dressed man. The nicest dressed man. Custom-made clothes. Rolex watch. Long limousines. Whoa! He's just a character.
Yeah.
That's all he's doing.
Well, I think
what do I have that Shawn Michaels doesn't have besides everything and the world championship title? Like, he's just a character. It's professionals like me. Like, he's cutting a promo right now. I'm like, he's doing a masterful job of it. Everyone who says, like, Mark Madden, who just has no talent at all.
No, he does. No question.
Fuck! We're all yelling and screaming about it. I'm more mad at the drones.
Yeah,
I'm
the people
mad
that
at
listen.
The drones who listen.
He brags about his ratings all the time on the air, apparently, and I
bet they're great.
I'm embarrassed by these people who are probably a lot smarter than this. There's a clip here that I think you should check out if you're a football fan, but especially a Steeler fan, because and I'm not going to play it now, but it says Mark Madden fire Todd Haley, which no, and also Antonio Brown, aka their best freaking player last year, is a quote unquote young money punk.
Oh. Well, I would like to ask Richard Sherman about those choice of words.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary, Mark Madden.
Oh, totally. And you know what? We're ripping on this guy.
And this guy.
And there are guys who are kind of brash about what they do and do kind of deserve the criticism that we give them. I don't feel bad about the criticism we've given Mark Madden. I think we've been very fair about that. I don't feel bad about any of the criticism we've given Mike Harrington.
Oh.
I don't feel bad about that. Oh, who was the other one?
Francesa.
I feel a little bad about that.
I think we just laugh.
He does. No, yeah, that's what. Yeah, we laugh.
We don't say.
We have said anyone should just apply. This guy's on New York radio. We have been a little unfair to Mike.
Mike's earned it, man. Mike's earned it.
Yeah. But I saw a guy today at Marley's practice, and I was just like, I'm not a nice guy. Just like, oh, shoot. I don't even remember what I said, but there was a guy who the whole blogging community liked to pick on for a while, and I don't even remember what he said to get us all so riled up. But we're all holding our microphones in Josh Levo's face at Marley's practice, and there was a reporter there who I was like, I vaguely recognize this guy. And he was wearing media credentials, and I looked across and I read them while Levo was talking, and it was Curtis Rush. Do you remember that name?
No, I don't.
Anyway, I just felt bad because like we all ripped on him en masse, and I was just like, he's just kind of a quiet guy, just trying to do his job. Marley's practice.
Is he a journalist?
Yes.
Okay. Like a real journalist belongs in the press box?
Oh, she's got Maple Leafs credentials.
Yeah, well,
I don't.
I mean,
I show up to practice, but
it was the same thing about what was it? It was who called you out on a podcast but didn't call you out. It was like it was Eklund.
Oh, I deserve that.
Okay, so
that was an example of a time where I handed out criticism that was totally unwarranted.
So what happened? It was funny. It's funny. I'm not bringing it up because it's sad. It's funny.
Well, because people always rip on Eklund because they think he makes stuff up, and he followed Adam. But he followed me one day, and I like screen capped, and I was like, "Oh, guys, Eklund's following me," and then he like tweeted at me a couple times, and I was just a real dick to him. And then I was just like,
Eklund was actually there to see you.
Eklund, fucking, whatever, who cares? And then, like 2 years later, someone mentioned me on his podcast, and it was a video podcast, so you see his face, and he's just kind of like, yeah, that guy doesn't like me. I don't know what I did to him. And in my head, I was like, he didn't do anything to me. He didn't do a single damn thing. And so I reached out and I'm like, I'll come on your next show. I'm so sorry. And then I was on with him.
Steve, you are Mewtwo to Pikachu at the end of the Pokemon movie. Just, you were that, sir.
You think I'm that cruel?
No, I don't think you're that cruel. No.
I'm not tentacruel. I like to think of it. So, yeah, I guess,
and listen, we're all guilty of it.
There was a greater point I had to that. I just remembered it. So, I think it's important that people tell us
when we're wrong,
criticize us. We encourage the feedback. That's 2016. You know, it's not a rhetorical conversation anymore. Like we're getting people's feedback here. I think that's very important. However, I will say to some of the very young and talented and aspiring sports media students on Twitter, be careful what you say.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Now, because there is a fine line between like warranted criticism and you sending out potentially damaging stuff to a future employer or someone you'll have to meet one day. Like, dude, I'll tell you one.
Okay.
Every time I'm at Leafs practice and Dave Feschuk's there, it's kind of weird.
Does he know?
I don't know, but I can't say hi to the guy with a straight face because I know all the things I've said about him.
Yeah, you know.
And he's a guy I still have internal conflict about because I'm like, damn it, I don't like his methods, but we still use his work, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know,
we don't like how he got the information on James Reimer's head injury.
I'll be honest.
We used the information that he got.
I'm terrified of the day I have to meet Glenn Healy.
I can almost guarantee he has not heard anything.
But at the same time...
Nor does he care.
But at the same time, I don't think I was very complimentary, especially in the first season of this show. And I know there have been others. I mean, we had Steve Simmons on. We looked him in the face. and still disagree
He
with him.
looked us in the face, man. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I still disagree with him. I probably disagree with him now more than I ever did before he came on the show. But damn, I got to admire him for coming on. That was
Absolutely.
pretty cool.
Steve Simmons is always willing to defend his position, whether we agree with it or not. I appreciated that about him too. Totally. You know, that's the thing is you run that risk. So yeah, make sure it just doesn't happen on Twitter. And even those jokes that you think only your friends can see, if you are doing a Twitter account, and even if you're like, I have a public one and a private one, delete the private one.
That is so
hate
stupid.
When
people do that. I hate it.
So unbelievably stupid. And I think, you know, if you're going to do this, you won't.
People post shit on the internet and then it gets found and people go, well, how'd they find it?
Well,
It's on the internet, you idiot.
Yeah. You're tempting fate, A. B, you're not fooling anyone because why would you need a private one? And C, if you are a good, talented person, people are going to follow you and you are going to accrue criticism and you're going to find people that you're going to find an audience is my point. And it'll happen before you know it. One day you'll go from 100 followers and it feels like yesterday that I started my Twitter account for Kiss 92.5 when I was 21 years old. And I have, 15,500 followers now, which is nothing in comparison to Steve. But that happened relatively quickly. And I can tell you in the last 3 years since this show started, I've gone up 10,000 followers.
Growth, I find, is exponential.
Yeah, like, so the more you grow, the more you grow.
It took me years to hit 1 million views on YouTube. And then it took me less time to hit the next million and then the next and then the next.
That's what they say about money. First million's the hardest.
Yeah, and then the gap between 7 million views and 8 million views for me was 98 days.
Wow. See, but that's right. Anyway, it's be careful. Be careful out there, kids. Take care of each other.
And on that note, as long as we're yelling at media students like we do every second episode, don't be like the guy who called into the Mark Madden show. Have a fucking opinion of your own. Mm-hmm. Or if you agree with someone, go and what else can I add to that?
Yeah.
I agree with Mark Madden. What else can I add to that?
That could be the best rule we've ever said. In anything that you do, always ask what else.
And then
the press conference.
Do you guys want to do a quick in-game promotion?
Yeah, sure.
What did they give out this food substance at the Ottawa Senators game today? Sent in by lovely listener Matt Whelan.
Humble pie.
What did they give out food substance-wise?
It's smooth, delicious, and free. From Gailey.
Smooth, delicious.
Ice cream. Soft serve ice cream.
Gailey?
No, they didn't give out butter.
I'm going to go with, and I've seen this at events before, I'm going to go with like yogurt in a tube.
They gave out cottage cheese.
Oh, no way! No way!
You got a little thing for cottage cheese there. You get your free cottage cheese. Pick it up.
Oh, man. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Shout out Ottawa.
Why? Because it smells like their team did this year?
Oh!
Hey. All right, a couple questions.
Yeah, quick ones. Space Jam. They do a hockey version. Who's representing Earth?
Oh, like
Have to be Gretzky, wouldn't it?
yeah.
Well, you gotta have a team.
Wait, it's got to be current. It's got to be current.
Okay, correct.
Got to be current.
Who's on Team Earth?
So who's Michael Jordan?
Crosby.
I don't think so.
No, but it has to be because of it. Remember, it's appealing to a North American audience, right? So you can't make it Ovechkin as much as you want to.
But he's the better actor, probably.
True.
Uh-huh.
So true.
He would have much better charisma.
Oh my God, he'd be so much
Michael
fun
Jordan.
too. I don't think there's a definitive Michael Jordan right now, to be honest. Like, I know that everybody says Crosby, or Ovechkin, but I don't think there's, like with Gretzky, there wasn't a question.
Damn, you know who?
Damn.
Perfect. Damn, you know who would be perfect?
Carey Price? If he played this year? And it
That's
was
actually an
amazing.
interesting choice.
No.
It's an interesting choice.
No.
Best player in the
We
world?
got to talk about a hockey player that transcends the sport.
I was going to say Tyler Seguin.
Nah.
No, Steve, we're talking about a player on a level. Everybody knows who Michael Jordan is and what sport he played. Everybody knows who Wayne Gretzky is and what sport he played.
So it
has to be the guy that transcends the sport, that even people who do not care about the sport, never seen a game, don't care, know who he is.
It's Sidney Crosby.
What? Michael Jordan was the leader of that team, but it had Charles Barkley on it. Mm-hmm. So the leader doesn't necessarily have to be the personality. So let's go with Sidney Crosby.
Yeah. Jonas Valanciunas. Jonas Valanciunas.
I got a hockey mind.
So I like that. I like Ovechkin playing with him.
Ovechkin has to be on the team.
Sagan's on that team, sure.
Sagan's probably on that team.
I'm going to say...
I'm going to go let's steer clear of
biggest personality, PK Subban. Do you throw him on the team?
Yes.
Oh my God, yeah.
Absolutely.
You got to put him in a movie? If
Absolutely.
Yep.
The other D?
Who's the goalie?
Ilya Bryzgalov. Says
no,
Reddit.
He'd be on Team Outer Space.
Yeah, he would. He would. They'd adopt him, and that would be hilarious. That'd be a great choice. I think Carey Price. You could do Carey Price for that.
Oh, Luongo has to be on Team.
Oh, yeah.
Luongo.
Yeah. Okay.
Who's PK's defense partner?
Eric Carlson? Nah, is he big enough? No. Drew Doughty.
He's huge.
Drew Doughty.
I was just going to say not Drew Doughty just to piss off LA Kings fans. We should just say not Drew Doughty. So who else other than Drew Doughty? Because it can't be Drew Doughty. Because he can't win in Norris and he can't be in our hockey Space Jam.
Because remember, it's a hockey spin-off of like a 90s movie,
right.
90s cartoon. So it's got to be like
Brent Burns. With the beard.
It could be Brent Burns.
I could do
but
Brent
it's
Burns.
got to be super cheesy. So the reason I was thinking Drew Doughty is because you got the LA guy, so he's got to be like super Hollywood man and like pull up to everything in a limo. It's got to be over the top.
Yeah, okay.
Next level.
Okay.
Well, Brent Burns could pull that off too, except go like super bear hunter. I'm coming out of the woods with my deer head.
The woods in San Jose.
No, Brent Burns could be Bill Murray.
Yeah.
He's the guy who shows up at the end and you're just like, what? I didn't know he was here. What? I didn't know Joel Thornton was in this picture.
One of the best cameos of all time, by the way.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah,
Phil Murray.
Unreal.
Just and if, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Zombieland. Also, one of the best cameos of you must.
I have not seen it.
You
Never seen
must see Zombieland. It is so freaking good. Oh
Is
my
it
god!
satire?
Yeah, it's funny.
Must see the Flyers.
Yeah,
I'm
you
into
know.
serious zombie movies, Adam. No, nothing. All right.
I'm not
did we
even
get our
giving you that
team?
one, man. I get heated about Star Wars. That's just disappointing. Come on.
Okay, second question.
Did we get our team? I guess we did.
Who is the most stereotypical fan at hockey games? Is it the guy that's always screaming, shoot it, regardless of where the play is happening? Or is it any jackhole that stands up and waves at the TV Jumbotron?
I'm gonna go with number
Any
2.
jackhole who stands up and waves at the fucking... Oh, wait, the Jumbotron?
The TV or Jumbotron camera.
I did.
See, those are two very different people.
Okay, I dated a girl who had, and I hated this.
Yeah, I
I
remember
hated this so much.
You hated this more than, all right, guys, let's break some wind?
I didn't hate that. That was great. I hated the fact that she always tried to get on the Jumbotron. Oh. And she would get up and she'd dance. And I was like, I would, it was like...
All right, fans, get...
And she would do that. And I was like,
All right,
like, why?
T-shirt. Oh, I didn't get one.
And you know, every t-shirt they send out is a men's XL anyway. So it'll never fit you. Like every t-shirt's a men's XL. So why would you want it? Unless you're a men's XL. And it's just I was like, okay, so then my thing was, and I never told her this because I couldn't bear it because I know it would have crushed her. And we didn't date long, but it was like she was a really nice person, but I was like, why do you care that you're on the Jumbotron? Like, okay, you're dancing on there and nobody knows you,
Adam.
and nobody cares, and then you were on it. So do you go to work the next day and go, I made the Jumbotron last night?
Yes, they absolutely
Yeah,
do.
they do.
You're a fancy TV person, and you're on a
But I
screen
wasn't
all
until
the time.
6 months ago.
You're also on the radio every day.
You're just used
these
to
peasants.
Hollywood. You Drew Doughty.
There's a giant screen above their heads.
I've never won
and they
Norris.
can be on that.
This is their moment, Adam.
Yep.
They can basically
Like, I
die
get it
after
if you're
this
a kid.
happens.
I get
This
it.
is their pinnacle of happiness.
I
You know
get
what's
it if
the
you're a
worst
kid, though.
Jumbotron game? The bongo cam.
The
I'm going like this, and then they put fake bongos there.
Yes! It's
so,
the worst!
So everybody's standing
And
there,
nobody-
and there's this bong, and nobody hits the bongos.
Nobody has rhythm. Yeah, they don't get the
people just like this. They're just like, what are you doing?
So, and the thing is too, they'll always, you could tell that it's somebody who's older, and God bless him, who picks the music that plays during. When you have a bongo cam, you want to have some like "Welcome to the Jungle" type beats in the back. You want either that, like a rock song with a heavy beat, or you want like some sort of heavy hip hop song
Something
that you play
with a beat.
with a beat. And
Phil Collins.
yes, and no, they
Not
never
just
do it.
Ariana Grande. Bang, bang. No, it doesn't work.
Into the room.
Yeah, and people just get up and dance, and they just flail their arms again, and it's like, no.
And people just stand there. Oh, my
The
God.
one thing I
Hate
did
the
see that was
bongo, yeah.
great, the Buffalo Bills, and they probably still do this. They did there was like a line across the screen, and this was in the late 90s, early 2000s. I was like 12 or 13 years old, and they cut to this guy, and it was supposed to be like a limbo stick, right? And he was so good. Everybody else didn't get it. They were all dancing, like, we're from Buffalo. And they were dancing, and we're from Buffalo with our beers. We're Bills fans. Go Doug Flutie. It was the Flutie era. The era of Flutie. Before that was over. And this guy gets up, and he actually, does it, and he, sneaks under it. And he was so funny, and it was so well done, and the whole stadium was like, oh, and then they started
That's what
laughing,
it's for.
and it was great. It was really, really great. But that is the one and only memorable moment in all the games that I have been to in every single sport, and I've seen them all. I cannot tell you how useless it is getting on the Jumbotron, and yet people want it.
My favorite moment ever, and I was too young to fully appreciate how funny it was, but I still laughed. My dad made the mistake that a lot of dads make, taking their kids to sporting events. He got us tickets in the bleeders at a Jays game.
Ooh,
you don't do that because that's where all the drunk college
that should be an 18
students go.
plus section.
Yeah, that is a great point. They should have that. Here, be hooligans in this section. You know what? You know people are going to do it anyway. Don't try to stop it. Contain it. And have all the kids, even give the kids the good seats. We're drunk.
Yeah.
We don't care where we're sitting. Now, but
Especially the bad Jays teams.
so we were with a bunch of dudes who were just blasted, ripped, and they came up with this idea in the second or third inning. They were just making loud, horrible comments the whole game with each other. And I would love it if one of them was listening and they're like, yo, that was us.
Now you're going to get a whole bunch of "Yo, that was us" tweets, by the way.
Yeah, a bunch of
Just people just faking it.
Do you remember when the Jays had I think it was a reliever or a closer named Billy Koch?
Yeah, he was their closer.
goatee.
Yeah, remember Billy Koch?
He had those Oakley sunglasses that came down over your head instead of around your head, which were the douchiest sunglasses, but he had them.
These waste bags came up with the idea, yo, let's get body paint over all of us. And there was like 20 of them. Let's get body paint and we'll all be a letter and we'll say, suck my Koch. And what's amazing is they left. And my dad was like, well, thank goodness that's over. Well, I'll be damned if they didn't come back 3 innings later
Hammered.
with suck my Koch on each one of them. And they started chanting it. And security's like, you guys got to split up. You guys got. And they finally got on the Jumbotron later, but the letters were all over the place. They didn't even spell anything. They were just, yeah, man.
That's so funny.
These waste bags. Oh, I forgot all about that.
Well, it was in that era too. The Jays tickets were so bad that they used to have Toonie games. And it used to be,
Toonie Tuesdays.
It used to be $2 to go to a Blue Jays game in the 500 levels.
Yeah.
And the crowds were just nuts.
Yeah,
Like,
I wonder
was
why. 'cause
just
they had more money to spend on booze.
Absolutely wild. Wild.
Jesse, did you ever get to experience Toonie Tuesdays?
I did, but I was too young.
But see,
But I
you didn't
remember
realize
the
how
era.
wasted everyone
I
was.
remember the era.
Wasty pants.
Oh, the Raptors have a fist pump cam. Remember that? They'll play
That
some.
could go wrong.
Yeah, they play some like Jersey Shore beats, and then you just go
Beat
all
that
over
beat
there.
up.
and you just fist pump.
Boo.
Yeah.
So this isn't fans doing things, but this is with game ops. I remember being at a game when I was younger with one of my parents. And they have a bunch of fans dancing on the camera, and they show them all on the camera. And I remember the first time I was at a Leaf game, and they showed someone dancing, and I went, "Hey, that's Mike Myers. Mike Myers is at this game.
Oh,
Wow,
yeah.
that's so sick." And then the next time I went to a Leaf game, they show it again. Hey, wow, that's so interesting. Mike Myers is at this game too. The third time, what the fuck is going on here? Mike Myers is not at all three of these games. And that's when I realized they just recorded that shit.
Yeah.
And they still play it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They shot that in like 2002.
Yeah. I remember, well, by the way, and anytime you're at a Leafs game and Johnny Bauer is there, Johnny Bauer is actually there. Johnny Bauer is at most Leaf games.
Yes.
And Johnny Bauer is always the guy they salute in the crowd and everybody gets up and claps for him. And God bless Johnny Bauer.
It happens 40 times a year.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? The Leafs in-game ops used to be so much better than they are. And I think it's because the NHL actually...
Like when we were kids, you mean?
When we were kids. Because I think the
it's
NHL...
starting to turn. Because
Yes.
it got real bad and now it's getting better.
The NHL, I think, got in and limited some stuff because the NHL hates fun. We know this. And so like when I used to go to playoff games and it'd be like one a year, but there was this one montage they had when Curtis Joseph was a goalie. And it no, it was great. It was really, really great. They had him they had scenes from the movie Cujo. And it just, you hear this barking, and then this old man walks over and says, "What you barking at, Cujo?" And then it goes into like, wham! Super pack of Curtis Joseph robbing the team that we were playing.
He's out of position. He saved it anyway. He's out of position. He saved it anyway. He's out of position. He saved it
It was
anyway.
30 seconds of absolute pandemonium. What did he do? So by the end of it, you're like, yeah! It was the loudest I'd ever heard the ACC.
I know they're down 4-1 in the second. Let's go! Cujo! Yeah!
I can feel it now. Like that was legitimate.
Ruining this microphone.
Yeah, well, whatever. That was fun. That was so
lightheaded. I was actually a little lightheaded there.
No, and Cujo used to be spectacular to watch and terrifying and amazing, and that's why that worked.
So remember, I used to work for MLSE. So the impression I got one year, because I was like, man, Leaf games are boring. Like I know it's quiet, but it's not just the fans' fault. Like they're boring to go to.
Yeah,
Mops is boring, and the people who were in charge.
All right, fans, we're gonna do pizza.
3, 2, 1. Stupid. It's garbage. But the people who were in charge had a job to do, and they did their job, and they did it well, I thought.
Sure.
Oh, the Flyers tied it! Fuck yes!
With less than a minute to go?
In Scarborough zone! I knew you'd come back, buddy!
Thanks, Wayne.
Come on!
3-3?
Yes!
That's huge.
Ah! Look happier than that. No, he's right. He's not going to be happy until they finish the job.
That's right.
He's right.
Because he's a good Scarborough kid.
Should we just stay on until this game's over?
No, because I'm sick, and and I have to go home, and I've got to be up at 4 a.m. tomorrow, and
You
I'm
can
getting
go,
sick.
Justin, and I'll
All right,
continue.
cool. You guys finish it up.
I think we should do it.
I'm good with that.
We should do an update on the standings. So Boston beat Detroit tonight.
Ooh.
So Philly is out of the playoffs right now.
Holy shit, there's less than a minute left.
I said that.
Oh, my
When they
bad.
scored.
Sorry, I was too busy. All the blood is returning
All right,
to my head.
I'm gonna go.
I don't remember
because
what I
I'm
was about to
I'm
say.
definitely getting sick, and I'm gonna go home. And I have to be at the Rogers Center tomorrow morning to interview. To be on the, I'm gonna walk on the dirt turf. We got our first dirt turf.
Yeah, dirt infield this year.
And
Go
I get to
Jays.
interview Dwayne Ward and Pat Tabler. Mm-hmm. And
Wait, are you telling me it's not turf?
Well, it's turf everywhere except for the infield.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
and Mark Shapiro.
That's
Get
incredible.
Shapiro on the phone.
How are you going to recognize him if he doesn't have a championship belt?
He's also got to interview Mark Messier for the 4th time.
Well, that'll be next week.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad.
Anyway, guys, I'm out. But yeah.
Okay.
I know you.
All right. So yeah, I bet this podcast. I bet this goes well.
We're just gonna sit here.
You guys
and
are just gonna watch the game going. Oh,
We're
it's
just
the
gonna
overtime.
watch
No,
the
okay.
game.
Pandemonium.
and
Let the kids roll.
All right.
I'm out of here, guys. I love you.
Steve. All right.
Oh, sorry.
Steve, what are
Yes.
your thoughts on the entire under 18 Russian team testing positive
wait.
for meladonium?
I want to finish my thought.
On what?
So
Game
I used to
ops?
work for MLSE and
There
Game
you
Ops. And they all had a job to do and they did it well. Bye, Adam.
Adam is actually leaving.
Story, bro.
You fucker.
Also, there's a hockey game on. Oh, is that penalty? No.
Oh, I hope so.
This
Flyers
makes for a
fans are
great
going nuts.
podcast.
And you
All
should-
right, overtime.
No, sorry. The point was, so all the season seat holders were like polled at the end of the season, like, what was your satisfaction level with everything? This is just something I heard. I don't know if it's true, but what was your satisfaction level with this and with that and with game ops? And they all go, yeah, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
But all the people being polled are season seat holders, which means they're business owners, which means they were just bringing people to games, probably not even paying attention and going, yeah, that was great. Or the people didn't even go to the game because they give them away to their employees.
They're just corporate seats.
So the nights, the enjoyment of like 20,000 fans every night was being decided by a bunch of people who like didn't even pay attention.
Who didn't care about the games at all.
Finally,
It's crazy.
people in charge were like, this sucks. Let's improve it.
So, before we touch on the Russians and their Melodonium,
Oh, yes.
we have a question from JLA Bruins.
Should we tweet that we're doing this?
Yeah, we should like Periscope or something.
Scope to pair?
Okay, some of us have to. Hold on.
I just
can't do both at the same time.
want to rock
Okay, JLA Bruins on Reddit wants to know, besides the videos and the blog, what do you do at Sportsnet? So talk about that while I set up Periscope.
Sure. Today I went to Ricoh Coliseum and I interviewed, holy shit. I got some questions in for Coach Sheldon Keefe. I was there for the Josh Levo presser. I was there for like less than a minute of the Clune presser because then I had to start my interview with Andrew Nielsen, who the Marlies just added. So I'll be transcribing that. It's going to take forever and putting that up. And then I also got to talk to Casimir Kaskiswa. And so that will go up as well. And Connor Brown I just transcribed, so I'll be getting all those interviews up. So I write a lot of stuff. Any video you see that's like not an LFR is that's something I do for Sportsnet too. So I'll do videos. I've been in a bunch of meetings recently. We're going to be, I don't know how much I can actually talk about it. Doing cool things with the YouTube channel.
Okay.
I can say that. I can say we're going to be doing interesting things.
So what would you? So you're just kind of content, but you also.
You know what's funny? I don't know my job title because I don't know if I have one.
Yeah.
Like last year, the discussion was like, "Hey, so you got the job? Oh, cool. What's my title?" This is literally what I heard. NHL prep coordinator. And I go, yeah, sure. He goes, yeah. That's how I got my title.
That's a job.
Last year. So this year, I think it's like content contributor, content creator. Come on, Flyers, you fucks.
So, dear Periscope, who's also watching, we're doing
I should retweet
this extra bit of the podcast because
Sans Adam.
there's an OT game going on.
It's a very impactful OT game.
If the Flyers win, they're in a playoff spot.
So if the Leafs win, so the Leafs got 1 point, but even if they lose this and they win their next game, in theory, they could finish ahead of the Oilers even if the Oilers win?
Yeah.
Is that how it goes? Oh, shit.
The Leafs need to lose, basically.
Oh, my God.
So we can guarantee this.
Did you tag me in the Periscope thing?
No. You'll have to go on my
That's
profile.
fine. I will look.
Okay. Russian hockey.
Yes.
80% of the under 18 team test positive for Melodonium.
I thought it was all of them.
80%. They fired the entire coaching staff. They replaced the entire team with an under 17 team. What do you think of this?
I mean, heavy sanctions send a message, don't they? Like, I feel horrible for the kids because as I was reading some stuff about how mad they were at the coaches. That like these kids were made to take this stuff. Mm-hmm. It's not like the whole team was like, let's do this.
The coaches gave this to all the kids because in Russia, this is like Advil. I was telling you before the show, this is like Advil. You get it over the counter. It helps with your endurance. It's half a steroid.
Yeah, so I don't really understand exactly what it is. It's not really a steroid, but it sort of is.
It's a drug to help you with your lungs and people with heart conditions, and it'll help you breathe better.
Oh, so it's kind of like Sudafed.
Yeah.
How Backstrom got in shit for Sudafed.
Yeah, but in Russia, you can just get it over the counter. You can't get it in North America. But in Russia, you go to Rexall, go to Shoppers Drug Mart, you can get it. So they just kind of take it as, hey, this helps me. You're not, if it's prescribed by a doctor, they wouldn't prescribe it to take like every day when you're running. They wouldn't tell you to take it for more than a couple weeks, but they figured out, hey, this is going to help me breathe better, so my endurance is going to be better.
That sucks
so
for those
Russians
kids.
take it all the time. That's what happened to Maria Sharapova. And then this year, January 1st, the Drug Association said WADA banned it this year, January 1st. They said now it's banned, and it was still in all of their systems.
I still think that's on the coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, the poor player. Oh my God. Sorry, I can only concentrate on this fucking game. The Leafs got a power
Leafs
play
are also
right
on
now.
a power play, and we don't want them to win.
Oh my God. Oh my. You know what? If they lose, like they don't have to hang their heads. They gave them everything.
Yeah, so they should just give up here.
Come on, Stevie Mason.
Ah.
You're a local boy. Come on, Bernie. Turn around. Fire. Damn. No, okay. Some of these kids on the Russian team are going to turn out to be stars, right?
Yeah.
Millionaires, even if they only play in Europe or Russia, they're going to make careers at this. Some of them, no. Like, this is their only chance to, this is their last chance to play at a super high level of hockey, super competitive level. Mm-hmm. Only chance to represent their country. What if they don't make the under-20 team? Which I'm sure a lot of them won't. Shit!
We just scored.
Who scored?
Damn it. Gardner?
Like, of course they won this fucking game.
How could we win? And
Of course they won! Look at.
if we lost, we would have had clinched the number 1 spot in the draft lottery. 30th place.
Canucks, you better suck.
Someone on Periscope said goalie interference. I hope so. But it doesn't look like it.
Not looking good. Not looking good.
No.
Not looking good.
No.
No, that's not goalie interference.
No, that's a clean
That's
goal.
not goalie interference. He was pushed.
All right, should we wrap this puppy
He
up?
was pushed, and believe me, I want them to win. Should we wrap it up? Nah. A lot of people are just tuning in. Do you have any more questions, like from Reddit?
Oh, if you
Might
give me
as well.
If you give me a second, I can go
let's
pull
just
it up.
let's do a few.
All right. Do you want to hold the Periscope? Do you want to do a front-facing Periscope for a little bit?
A front-facing. Oh, you mean like that?
Yeah.
So now I'm not looking away from Jesse the whole time. It looks like they're gonna review it. You want to watch me watch the game? So cool, eh? Oh wow, they're legit reviewing it. I mean, I would if I was Hackstall.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, Mason is interfered with by Brooks Lake, but like, is it Brooks Lake's fault?
No.
Who's the one who pushed them?
Steve, would you ever do an entire podcast as Don Cherry?
No, that would get very annoying after a while. What's the call? They call it a goal?
Yeah.
There it
goal,
is.
Win. Okay. Leafs don't get Stamkos. Upcoming free agents you think they should go after?
Ooh, someone put up a list. I need a list.
Okay.
General Fanager, I think, has a list of the
Do they?
pending ones. I gotta look gorgeous for this. I know Andrew Ladd is a pending free agent. Eric Stahl. There's some of the names I forget. TJ Brennan.
General Fanager.
I need a little bit more. Look at him doing work. Work. Timmy.
All right. You want to take a look?
Yes. Okay, here we go. Young Jesse. Well, Eric Brewer I can do without. Year 2016. There you go. That's the filter I want.
We're probably well into 2 hours right now.
Oh, that's fine. Oh, yeah. We're doing a Periscope only show. I feel like this might be boring if you're listening in your car. Okay, we got Eric Stahl, Steven Stamkos, Brian Campbell, Cam Ward, Milan Lucic. Oh yeah, someone asked a question on Twitter, and they're like, who among these guys is going to make the most in free agency? Eric Stahl, after Stamkos, who's going to make the most? Eric Stahl, Brian Campbell, Cam Ward, Milan Lucic, Patrick Elias, Shane Doan. Oh, shoot, I pressed something. I think the answer just might. Oh, and there's Keith Yandel, who's probably going to make a whole big bunch. I think the answer just might be Lucic.
Interesting.
Because everyone is always trying to draft the next Milan Lucic, and everyone wants the player they just signed or the player they want them to be the next Milan Lucic. When really there's only Milan Lucic.
How old is Lucic?
Lucic is 27.
Oh, that's...
and his cap hit is $6 million right now.
everyone's saying, "Oh, Stamkos, the big free agent," but you look at Lucic, he's in his prime.
That's enormous. Now, I guess the theory is the Kings are probably going to sign him. Mm-hmm. With what? I mean, the Kings don't operate under the cap. They just have their own freaking cap, so they'll figure that out. But of the guys who are pending free agents, Lucic is already the 5th highest paid. By the way, Stamkos is not number 1. It's Stahl. Oh. Stahl makes $825.
It's ridiculous. It's going down after this year.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
He's a center. Mm-hmm. Centers can ask for whatever they want.
But his numbers have been declining. How old is he?
He's 31. He's 31. Probably not going to get 825, but he's going to get paid. He's still going to make bank. I'd be surprised.
North of 6, 7?
Yeah, I was about to say I'd be surprised if it was south of 6. Brian Campbell. Wow, I didn't realize he was 36 years old. I was going to say he'll probably stay around 7.1, but there's no way. There's no way. Cam Ward is obviously going to get a haircut from 6.3. I think the answer is Lucic.
Okay.
I think Lucic is going to get at least the $6 million he's getting.
Okay, with all those free agents, who do the Leafs pick up? Because not
right, because that was the question.
Yeah.
They probably don't go incredibly expensive or incredibly old, right? Mm-hmm. So let's
check the camera.
Yeah, sure. Let's sort this by age then. Nathan McKinnon. No, okay. So there's all the RFAs. People keep talking about offer sheets. I don't see them going for that. Holy smokes, how many pages of RFAs? All right, here. Now we're getting into some UFAs.
What do you see on the UFAs? Or the RFAs?
Not a lot right now.
Yeah.
I'll just say any of the names I think are interesting. Jason Demers is pretty interesting in Dallas.
Mm-hmm. I know last episode we talked about Kadri.
Oh, James Reimer?
We talked about Kadri.
Yes.
Bridge deal? Long term? What was your final say on that?
It's hard. It's really hard. Because I think they took a bet with Gardner and they won. They did a really good... That's a good bet on Gardner. Like, say what you want about him as a player, and I do. Mm-hmm. That's a good contract. He's got a good contract. And then they made a bet on Bernier, and they said this 2-year deal is going to be worth it.
Yeah.
Boy, did they think that was a mistake. And, I believe the Bernier saga was, Lou's first foray in Toronto. Mm-hmm. That was, the first thing he really did.
Yeah.
I think Kadri may get a 2 or 3.
2 or 3 at $7 million?
No, not at $7 million.
6.5. 5. Okay.
He's not. No. He hasn't earned 6.5.
No.
He hasn't earned that. But he's not worth that kind of money, dude. Even a second line center, a middling second line center, is going to get $4 or $5 million in this league. That's just how it is now.
Is Nazem Kadri a second line center on a championship team?
We haven't seen him play behind a bona fide number 1 yet. So we don't know that. We don't know. The JVR Bozak Kessel line never gave whatever line Kadri was on the proper support. Mm-hmm. Right? Okay, they scored plenty of goals, but they got outscored every game. So you're already playing from behind there. So it's to be seen. I think he could be.
Okay.
I think he could be.
I made the theory of, I think the other day I was talking with someone, if you took Malkin off of Pittsburgh and that was Kadri's spot, is Pittsburgh still as good as they are?
Well, of course not. Nazem Kadri's not Evgeny Malkin.
But no,
a better question would be, would the Penguins be bad?
Yeah, it's the overall numbers of the team. Yeah. If they're not going to drop significantly.
I don't think so. I mean, yes, a little bit. You're going from Malkin to Kadri. No one is saying Kadri is Malkin, right? But
is he a second line center on a really good team?
I would argue yes.
Okay.
I would argue yes. Okay. What are some other names that are interesting? You know what? I want to see what the Leafs decide with Ben Smith. Because I think he has a potential to have a really, really good playoffs with the Marlies. Mm-hmm. I kind of liked how he was with the Leafs in a very short stint. I think he could be a very interesting pickup, or I guess re-signing. Viktor Tikhonov is very interesting because I thought he would come back from the KHL earlier than he did. Yuri Talusti is a free agent at the end of all this. It says he's a center, but...
Remember when he was a Leaf?
Yeah, remember that.
You know what we didn't talk about? What's on the screen right now?
The Jays? Oh, that's right.
Because tomorrow.
Oh, we meant to talk about that.
Because tomorrow you are going down to the Rogers Center.
So are you, aren't you?
I am not.
Oh yeah. No, so we got to talk about the exchange we had. What was it? I was like, oh yeah, because we know someone who's going to be in a box.
Yeah.
And so I was like, or no, you said, hey, can we like go in that box?
Can we get a seat in that box? And he said, hey, I'll see what I can do. And Steve goes, I'm going to the game anyways.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so somebody comped you some tickets, Steve? And Steve said no.
Because I bought them.
Can you believe that?
And Jesse proceeded to ask me, I think 4 more times. He goes, really?
Yeah, I wasn't really sure.
You bought tickets? Yes, I did, Dick. I did. I bought tickets with
I had
money.
to check like a handful of times if you had actually bought those tickets. So congratulations.
I got in his face and was like, ask me again.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
I'm glad you now know what it feels like to be a regular person.
Wow.
And not a fancy man.
This may be my first time paying full price for opening day tickets. Because I've been to opening day a handful of times, but I know people who get half off.
Yeah.
So I usually get tickets for that.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.